Welcome back. So I decided to take a little detour, head in a little different direction, turn to another kind of okay, I'm going to stop. Instead of the body, I'm working on the steering column today because it is haggard. This car was parked outside. It's convertible. It was in the weather a little bit, and it's, it's 51. Happy birthday. So what we're doing today is we're just cleaning it up a little bit, and and I left the rag joint on, by the way. You can still get this through the firewall like this. So I'm cleaning all this up. This bit was bent anyway, doesn't matter. This was pretty rusty. So I've used these high-tech tools over here, technology, with my safety equipment and some other tools and liquids to remove and smooth and lift and separate all of the stuff I don't want on here. Then what I'm going to do, and by the way, I'm not restoring the whole steering column and all that. I'm not getting into that. I'm even leaving the steering wheel on because you guys, just want to get this back working. And I've learned the hard way, it's easier to take stuff apart than it is to put it back together, especially getting down into here. So if it works, hopefully it works. I drove it off the lot, so hopefully this all works. I'm not trying to rebuild the whole steering column. Maybe someday if it doesn't work, but I think all this works. I'm just going to leave it. My plan is twofold. One of the folds is to apply this because it is a little bit rusty and I don't want it to just come back. So this is a satin finish, POR15 semi-gloss or satin, and then I'm going to apply that with this sponge because apparently the POR is kind of thick and I think it likes to be sponged on, not brushed on. And then I like the VHT products, and I got a 6-pack of this actually, the roll bar and chassis paint. And this is also satin. This is called satin black, aka semi-gloss or something. They're all a little bit different, but I'm gonna hit it with this. If it needs it, I'll just do a light sanding, to get rid of any nibbies. Then, that's a word, by the way, nibbies. In space, they're called nebulas. And then I'll paint it with this if it needs it. The POR stuff might work. If that's good, I'm gonna stick with that because I'm not crazy about having to tape all this stuff off. A lot of stuff to tape off, all this stuff. Taping. So if I can get away with not taping, I will. But if I have to tape it off and spray it, I will. All right, I just put the second coat of the POR15 anti-rust on here. It's still kind of settling. You can see it's not even close to dry. I know it's very rough, but that'll mellow out. This stuff, it's good. I like the POR. It tends to settle over time, and also I'm going to sand that before I finish it. But I want to show you guys something about this in case you're going to use it. First of all, I ruined the lid prying it out. It just wouldn't come off. And I pried it, kept prying. I almost had to use pliers. So I destroyed this, but that's okay. And the reason is, look at this. I don't recommend, don't paint out of the can, right? This stuff, you'll ruin the paint. What I do, and what I did, first of all, I emptied the contents into these little mason jars, and I filled 2 of these, so I can keep one on the shelf. I can use one. This stuff will thicken up a lot when you expose it to air, so try to keep the exposure to air to a minimum. So what I do is I'll just pour a little bit in a plastic cup. You can see I was using this cup, just a little of this goes a long way, so you don't need much. And then I use these disposable foam brushes, which I feel a little bad about because every time I paint I have to go through a brush because you just can't really save them. So I did produce some trash Sorry, environment. That's part of the deal. Try to keep it to a minimum though. So this is now drying. This is, like I said, the second coat. I did sand after the first coat, and I just have it upright here because of course I have to go all the way around and paint the cylinder. So this is what it's looking like now. I got it all cleaned up. Hello. Hey, get away. Dog hair machine. So, yep, there you go. Thanks for that. Anyway, my plan is let this dry 3 or 4 hours, and then I'll probably give it a light sanding just to remove any little bumps, and then I may paint it, or I may use the trim paint that I've been using on all the interior components, all the vinyl plastic parts. I'm using this really good SEM Ultra Black, so I might just hit it with that because then it'll match. I know the sheen, the finish will match everything else. All right, that's the plan. See you soon. All right, here we are a couple days later. I've got it hooked onto my diving board because I want to bake this in the sun. I'm going to show you the paint I used to finish this. I think it turned out great. It's got a satin finish and just a little texture to it, which is actually awesome because that'll hide fingerprints and stuff. But it's just baking out here. I'm gonna leave it out here for a day or two in the sun. I find that really helps with just getting these spray can paints absolutely as like solid and cured as you can possibly get them. Just leave them out in the sun. Don't touch them. So I did spray the roll bar chassis paint, the VHT, first. Then I sanded it. Then I did the SEM Trim Black Ultra, which is the same trim paint I'm using for all of the vinyl and plastic parts. And I made that choice because I want the C3, even though it's a 71, I want it a little bit crisper, like a little bit more black, because the classic, the vinyl and all the plastic on those cars, on the C3s, on the 71 anyway, it's a little more on the gray side, which is fine. I just made the choice to go a little darker, so I'm using that Ultra Black. So that's how it's looking now. What do you guys think? I think it turned out really well. I went ahead and hit these with some steel wool, cleaned them up, got the steering wheel all cleaned up. So we'll get this back together and in the car. Hopefully it works. I think it will. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. If it was, give it a like, subscribe if you want. See you later.